Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hey there, hello, and welcome to March 22nd. This be a Thursday. As you know, Thursdays is when Tom Sokolowski joins me, but he's missing in action. Not here. Which is a little confusing and somewhat concerning, but we're going to assume everything's okay. And strangely, because when my sister was on Tuesday, and ostensibly Susan was on because a lot of you were curious about seeing her. And so she came on Tuesday's show. Most of you don't watch live, you watch later, and you were intending to watch the posted video. And what happened, of course, is that for the first time ever, apparently, the video did not record. It doesn't exist, and so we got deluged with a lot of unhappy people who had come running home from work, so excited about seeing Susan, and she was not there. So Susan's going home today, back to St. Louis, but what we decided is, since so many of you were upset, I said, well, come with me to the show today before I take you to the airport. And, you know, Sokolowski will be here, but we can sort of squeeze it. And so this is odd, because Susan is here, Tom isn't. So I guess I'll move over. Here, you take this.
Come around.
No. Because if he comes in, by any chance, then it'll be...
Right.
So, here, you can have that mic. I'm moving over here, and Susan will come in here.
I'm going to try.
Okay, so, and there's Susan, okay? So there she is, for those of you who are curious.
You got to move a little bit more, Lynn.
Okay. Okay. Is that chair sort of low, huh?
Oh, yes. I am, how you say, diminished.
Well, I always said she was my kid sister. Here she is. Okay, there.
I'd also like to say I looked better on Tuesday.
When she was expecting to be seen. You look fine.
Okay.
Okay, so this is odd. It's not what we were intending, and I don't know what the heck. It's weird. I hope. Anyway, so stop worrying about it.
Yep.
Hey, can you hand me my Coke, and we'll get going here?
Yes.
We'll just do the show.
I want a phone book.
Well.
Go ahead. Never mind.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm slouching a bit. So, I got to get my head around this because I had all these things I was going to talk to Tom about. And
I'm sorry.
No.
Replacement.
No, it's just that a lot of them were somewhat localized, including, and I guess I'll bring this up with you here. You cannot, Susan, if you were to go out onto the street right now and think, well, I'll just hail a cab to get to the airport. You'd be standing there a long, long time. There are no cabs to hail in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, St. Louis works the same way. You call.
You call?
You call.
You got that? Really?
Yeah, you got to call a cab.
Okay, so we aren't the only city with this
No, I think
problem.
if you were downtown in front of a hotel, you could.
Well, that's where you get them. That's right. No, in front of a hotel.
But if I
or at the airport, that's it.
Right.
That's
exactly.
it. So,
You call.
and don't think that doesn't. A lot of travelers, business types, who come to Pittsburgh are stunned because they're assuming, oh well, I'll get a cab and I'll blah 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 blah, and you can't. So. The news the other day was said that there's this group that includes Yellow Cab Company and some other van and limousine services have gotten together, and they've created a little group called the Pittsburgh Transportation Group. And initially, they're going to put 6 cabs. 6! Count them! 6 cabs.
6 Rovers?
6 black and white. 6 black and white cars that'll be roaming around in the downtown area, and they are there to be hailed. Taxi! They're here to be hailed. However, here's the part that just freaks me out. You can only get in them if you're planning on going to certain neighborhoods. In other words, I can't hail a cab and say, bring me to.
Yeah, because the cabbie will say, I don't go there.
I won't go there. You could hail the cab and say, yes, at the airport, please. And he'd say, I'm sorry, I don't go there. He doesn't.
No, he's got to stay within the prescribed area so that he's constantly available. So what good is he?
I don't know, and that's what I can't understand. And they're all excited about it. And the Post-Gazette has published a editorial. I mean, they're very excited about it. So, and it actually says in their editorial, next year, regular cabs might be allowed to stop for hailing customers.
Wow.
Wow!
It's something to really look forward
to. Is that possible? Could you dare to hope it?
Yeah, but for people that, are not in cab-hailing cities, cab-hailing is really fun. I mean, it's one of my favorite things about New York, competitive cab-hailing.
Yeah, cab-hailing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you have moments of triumph every time you grab one. So here's where they can go. I mean, if you grab one of these 6... I mean, first of all, I don't even know. What are the odds if there's 6 cars, they all out at the same time? If there's 6 cars, and it's a pretty small downtown area, but still, you'd be standing on the wrong corner for a good half hour.
Yes.
You're never going to see a cab. This whole thing is so absurd. So they'll go to the north side. They'll go to Mount Washington. They'll go to the south side. They'll go to Oakland, although they're not sure how far into Oakland they'll go. And what's the point? And what I want to know then is, so if you see one of these black and whites in Oakland,
can you hail it to
get back to town? Well, I would imagine
I would think so.
Because
he doesn't ride it. They don't want to ride empty. Could be a girl driving, so I don't want to call him a he.
Well, the new idea is to promote service in the city's core, connecting restaurants and other businesses with desirable destinations nearby. Well,
then walk. I mean, if it's that close, what do you need the cab for?
I take exception to desirable locations because my neighborhood is not in here, so I must
be
in an undesirable location.
So then, do property values go down based on the city's assessment of what a?
Don't say city assessment around here these days. Don't.
Well, I don't mean in terms of taxes. I mean in terms of rating of neighborhoods.
There's something. Sometimes Pittsburgh seems like a big city. Sometimes it seems like a little town. This seems so embarrassingly little town. But I'm glad to hear St. Louis is in the same situation.
Same thing. I mean, if I'm going to the airport, I have to call a cab, a half an hour before I want it, and I have to hope
it'll show up.
That it'll show up in a timely fashion.
It's the same thing we got. It's the same thing we got.
So it's like adding, I'm already anxious. And now I'm going, is the cab going to get here so I can get out of the airplane and die?
Right.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so there's that. But I thought Tom would have a lot to say about that since he's a sophisticate, you understand, and he always seemed like a little bit of a strange fit for Pittsburgh because he's a sophisticate. Although, if the truth be known, he's really just a Midwestern Polak.
Don't say things like that just because he isn't here and can't defend himself.
Well, he'd agree.
Right.
His father, didn't he say his father, was that who we were talking to, that his dad didn't even have a high school education?
I don't know.
I think that might be true.
Well, but there were a lot of people in that generation that didn't. They stopped school to work.
Yeah. Okay, then I want to know, did everybody see the picture of the mother of the presumed armored truck robber?
Alleged.
Huh?
Alleged.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Kenneth, and I don't know how to pronounce it because I never watched or listened to the news. So, Conius. Did you see his parents? I guess if you're watching the news, you probably saw this because they did a plea for their son to come home. I mean, he ain't so stupid that he thinks he can come home. They don't mean come home. They mean go to jail. But did you see?
They mean turn yourself in instead of getting shot on the road.
Did you see your? But did you see his mom? It's maybe this has to do with age. But Jess, you reacted like I did too, didn't you? I mean, she just looks like a babe. She looks like a 20-something blonde babe with very long legs. And, of course, she's married to a guy with a pot belly. But
look at how she's dressed versus the way he's dressed. Do you think that she's dressed for her moment of fame?
She's dressed.
The cameras are there. So
she's dressed. She's dressed very nicely. And she and he are about to go on TV to plead for their son.
He's wearing.
Well, but she's a woman. It's her moment.
But I don't know.
And he's wearing a T-shirt.
He's wearing a T-shirt and workout pants, sort of.
Well, it's hard to tell.
Or is that like team colors? Sort
but
of?
I would have done what she did. I would have made myself look nice.
Yeah, but you always do.
No, I don't. And she probably always, I don't know. But she just looks like a babe. And all of the stories I've read about say that he's a mama's boy. And when I always hear mama's boy, then I think of some maternal, matronly, woman. This gets a little more interesting.
What kind of a mama makes a mama's boy that murders his working partner and steals all the money and runs away?
Well, I don't know. This kind.
Yeah, I know, but it's strange.
Well, but you can't necessarily blame her. We don't know. I mean, like if one of our kids went wrong, does that immediately then become your fault?
Yeah, I would certainly feel that way.
I would feel that way, but I don't know if that's always true because there's a lot of nice people who have kids who go wrong.
That's right, and I find myself thinking, what did you miss? Of those. I can't help it. I mean,
all right.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure other people feel that way too. It might not be fair. I'm sure it's not fair, but somewhere in there, somebody missed something.
Maybe. And then there's the shooter at Western Psych. And at first they couldn't even identify this guy. He wasn't carrying identification. And by the time the cops figured out who he was, getting in touch with his parents, and he's another young man. His parents can't be very old. He was 30. Getting in touch with his parents proved to be very difficult. And the first we ever heard when they finally did find his parents was that they were on a ship. They were somewhere in the Caribbean or something, or near the... And then they didn't immediately fly in to claim his body or this or that. And I remember thinking, how awful. I mean, I just thought, what's going on here? How weird this is. It took him a long time to even issue some kind of public statement. Well, it turns out that his parents, and they knew they had an extremely troubled young
They might have tried
man.
to, at some point, just cut him off to save themselves.
I didn't get that impression, but what they did do is they obviously had enough money and they'd both retired and had bought, I presume, a pretty big boat. And they were exploring the coastlines. I guess they'd done the West. I think they're just sailing around the world or something, and had been doing that for years. So they were totally out of touch with their kid, who is changing locations, who moves to Pittsburgh, who gets a TA job at Duquesne University, who immediately starts causing trouble. I do know that his mother came in for a hearing he had at Duquesne. She was with him, and he ended up leaving Duquesne. Then she must have flown right back onto the boat, and about 2 months later, he kills this wonderful kid, and I just don't understand. I mean, but what do? You can't. Parents used to be able to put a kid like that in a.
Well, here's the problem: if the kid's 18,
well, this one's 30. He was
parents.
30. You have nothing you can do.
There's absolutely nothing you can do. You can't force the child to take medication. You can't force the child to go to a doctor. You have absolutely no standing or rights in courts or doctors or anything. So,
So this is the kind of thing
that's what happens. And it's extremely frustrating and just happens.
Gigi said it's fun to hear and see you and Susan. It's extra fun because the audio is out of sync with the video, so it's comical. Could we ever get something done right?
It's not, though.
Yes, it is. I just saw there.
No, because there's a delay.
There's a delay.
The audio fits with the video.
Well, tell that to Gigi. Jess is saying no. Whatever it is you think you're seeing and hearing, you're not.
Maybe it's her internet.
Yes, maybe you are.
Jess says it's your internet.
Correctly.
Yeah. Say, Gigi, it's your fault.
I would like to point out that Lynn would never come up with the word buffering.
No, I wouldn't. I don't know from buffering. I've heard it. I mean, I have a sense of what it is, but...
Can I tell a story on you?
Okay, does this story have, 3 components?
Yeah.
Okay, Susan now will tell a story.
So I am sort of one of the people that fixes things before she calls a handy person to fix them. And so whenever I visit people like my sister or my mother, they have a list of things that they want me to try and fix. So Lynn had a whole television hookup down in a exercise room, which she never used because she couldn't get the television to turn on or work.
And no one could expect me to sit on some damn bicycle staring at nothing in particular.
Absolutely.
The only way I could possibly subject myself to this horror and boredom is if there's something to distract me.
Right.
And so I even bought an extra special TV.
Yes.
I
nice
even
one.
went and I hooked it. I thought I hooked it up.
Yes, you did.
And it didn't work.
No. It did not work. And she also had a DVD player in her family room that everything worked, but the DVD player
Did not work.
Dead as a doornail.
Dead.
And she also had, and this is a rather unique thing, a very modern
Toilet seat.
toilet seat that does everything except shave your armpits.
That was a
And-
gift. It was a gift. I did not buy that thing.
Also, dead as a doornail. So
All right.
I thought I'm going to start with the one that is best for my sister's health. That would be the TV in the exercise room. And I went down there and I started following the massive wires. And it became clear to me that I thought I could fix it. And in about 30 seconds, we were done. And it worked. So
What was the problem?
I plugged it in. Now in Lynn's, on Lynn's behalf, I must say it wasn't your normal plug, and everything seemed as if it was plugged in, but it wasn't. The cable box simply was not plugged into the wall. Okay, so we did that. That was a two-step process.
I was not real thrilled with that fix because there went my last excuse.
She tried to be very excited.
My last excuse to,
She
use
tried
this
to be
bike.
very excited, but
All right,
now she has to work. So she says, okay, but now fix the DVD. So it was late. The next morning I got up and everybody else was still abed. And I went downstairs and I thought, dead as a doornail. Let's look to see. Let's
follow the cords.
So you move the big thing back, and it was a spectacular, sorry for the word, array of cords. But I was steadfast. I followed the cord, and I plugged it in. Working. And then I thought, okay.
I have been unable to watch a DVD for close to a year.
Anyway, so
it wasn't plugged in. All right, so onto the toilet.
Well, the first thing I noticed is that wasn't plugged in either. So I
knew it wasn't.
I knew that. I plugged it in and dead as a doornail. And I did recall Lynn saying something about how she even changed the batteries.
And the reason I know you but we have to say I know you don't have a toilet seat that has batteries, but I do. And I had even changed the batteries because my toilet seat shoots water up any orifice on your body that you care to have.
It heats itself. It
heats it to
toilet,
a certain. And then it
says,
air
"Good
dries
job."
you.
It does all sorts of things.
It does, and then it sort of pushes you off. It's amazing. It does It does everything, but brush your hair and send you out. So it does have it has a control.
It has a little control pad. and I will say that I was very proud of Lynn because in order to access the batteries, she had to take a screw out, and she did that. And so I thought, well, I just better check. So I took the screw out, and the batteries literally spring out. And I thought, So I checked to see positive, negative, negative, positive. Put them back in. The thing springs to life. So the third one was the hardest. I had to put the batteries in correctly. And I would like to point out that I saved her probably about $500 in various repairs, but I as of this moment, did not spare her the humiliation.
No. But that's okay. See, and everybody who listens to the show knows. I mean, anybody who's listened to me forever knows.
And seen you hang up on me 16 times.
Yeah, that I can't, if it has to do with anything that has to do with how things work, function, I just can't deal with it.
So I'm now making a little sign for my sister to hang in her house, which says, if the thing is suddenly totally dead, check the power source.
That's the first thing. Okay, so in regard to power sourcing and all this kind of stuff, Joe Ellen now writes, the audio and video are just fine this morning. Take that, Gigi. But Joe Ellen says, I have had problems before. Today, however, is just fine. This is listen. Okay. This is held together by chewing gum. I mean, this whole operation here, you ought to see how...
Right, they have to upgrade to duct tape.
Yeah, how Jess starts the show. There's a switch she flips, and she flips it, and then, of course, that never works. So then she goes... Bum, flips it again. And then there's some mornings where it's like a million times. And then, I start getting nervous after about 45 seconds of this with nothing happening. And then all of a sudden, whew, it clicks in. And what's amazing is she evidences no concern at all because some days it just takes a lot of flipping the switch. You just have to jiggle it. So... this is the kind of operation we have.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so there's a wire that isn't connecting in the switch.
Whoa,
Anybody
shut
thought about
up,
that?
little Miss Fix-It. Listen, we got guys who make big money around here.
I know.
Engineers.
I know. I'm treading on union toes. I'll stop it.
I doubt it. Are they unionized here? I doubt it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break. And I do wonder where Tom is.
I know. It's
Try
where.
calling him again.
Right.
Okay. How long is this break? Do I have time to call him?
Like a minute and a half.
Okay. I'm going to try to call him just to make sure, and we'll be back in just a sec. Okay, Sue,
Stick
give me
around
that.
for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
Far from the city where the Lorax roams free is the home of a magical truffle of trees. They grow happy and healthy and thick as you please, just waiting for visits from yous and from me's. In a place you will love with things you'll adorest. It's a magical spot. We call it the forest.
Look, everyone here needs the trees.
And who are you?
What? I'm the Lorax, guardian of the forest. I speak for the trees.
Visit the animals. Come see the plants. From the mighty sequoia to the tiniest ants. Discover its beauty. Take time to relax. See brown barbaloots or even the Lorax.
I feel so alive!
I just like hearing you say it.
The forest is there for you to explore. So come once to see it, then come back lots more. Visit discovertheforest.org. This message has been brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Pittsburgh City Paper's annual music guide is available now. Pick up one today for an inside look at the music scene in Pittsburgh. Plus Tosca, The Monster in the Hall, and Go Radio. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Oh, no, you don't want to wear the...
Oh, okay. So more, we got more jazz, more complaints. Chris writes, that's not Chris. Chris writes, Gigi is right. Okay? When you watch the video, it pauses every 15 seconds, okay, they're not lying. They're reporting back. It pauses every 15 seconds, but the audio is still going. It was like this on Tuesday when Susan was on and Wednesday with Potter. Just curious, who gives you a toilet seat as a present? That's rather personal, isn't it? Also missed the first 5 minutes of the show. Where's Tom? Glad we get to see Susan. We don't know where Tom is. I just
worried
called.
about him.
I don't know. And who gives you a toilet seat? Well, I'll tell you what. I have a friend. Actually, we were at his home last evening.
Cooked us a lovely dinner.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Drank a little too much wine.
And he introduced me, so to speak, to this amazing toilet seat. He had one. And I came out of his bathroom, this was many, many, many years ago, saying, "Oh, geez, that's incredible. I got to have one of those." And as a birthday gift, I'm telling you, he got me one.
Well, and I have to say that once I got the batteries in correctly, I felt it, important that I test drive the thing and make sure that it was working appropriately. And it is great fun. I mean, you go, woo, ha!
Ah, ooey, ooey. And you know what? People have different reactions to it because my friend Kit, for a while there, I was so into the toilet seat that
you made everybody use it. Right?
Anybody who came to the house had to immediately go into my bathroom and use the toilet seat. And it's just amazing how some people get uptight about being told to go up and go to the bathroom, please, immediately.
Well, right.
Kit came out of there with a look of violation on her face. She really looked like she'd been assaulted. And she said, "That's awful. That's just the worst, horrible thing I've ever, blah, blah, blah." And I've had other people who've reacted to it as if it's alive and it's terrifying.
Well, that's ridiculous.
I thought so,
it's
too.
It's just a toilet seat that turns your regular toilet into, here's that word again, a bidet.
You never said bidet before.
Yes, I did. I would.
Oh, okay.
From my own home, we were talking about bidets,
bidets.
and you told me to cram it. Stop it. Don't talk about that.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, and we have Gigi says, well, it probably is my internet, which is probably as great as your whole operation that you just described. But I'll continue to enjoy the show this way because it's just too much fun.
Thank you, Gigi.
Yeah, but it's fun because you're laughing at us. Because we look like idiots.
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. But something's got to be wrong, Jess. Okay, it's not wrong on Jess's, so it's all's right with her world.
But we have good, I guess it has to be an internet connection.
It has to be an internet connection.
Yeah. I'm watching it separately from everything else.
Okay, but see, I do see it pausing.
No, because there's a delay. So what you say right now
is later.
What you're saying right now.
Okay.
Like the video and the...
Oh, fuck. You know what?
I understand what you're saying.
Who cares? I don't. Okay, but I would not want to. I would not want to watch something like that. I would not. It would be very annoying. So if that's
there is a buffering issue.
So if this is how the show looks to a lot of our viewers, then something's wrong.
As in the customer is always right.
That is correct. I mean, if we don't have a service that, well, whatever.
I didn't read any papers this morning because I didn't know that I was actually
going to be on. But that's okay. Here's a good one. Bill Maher has a great piece in the New York Times today.
You read that guy? You watch that guy?
Yeah.
I do too.
Okay. So here's what he says. He's sick and tired of everybody apologizing. You know, he went to bat for Rush Limbaugh, did he? With the slut remark? I think he did. Just because they all started saying, well, Bill Maher called,
actually, I saw that show. What he said is that he found it amusing that at the minute that Rush Limbaugh did anything wrong, they blamed it on him.
Well, that was the way the right defends Limbaugh is by pointing fingers at him or Ed Schultz, who have, in moments of intemperate...
Maher is constantly making misogynistic comments.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes without saying.
Okay, so here's what he says, and I do like a lot of what he says here. What really got him crazy was the same thing I was raving about the other day that made me nuts, was them jumping all over Robert De Niro.
Oh, yeah. And let me just point out that Bill Maher can actually write. So, he can put together a piece that is readable in a newspaper, which I would suggest that some of these other jokers can't.
Maybe so. But he was upset about De Niro having to apologize and the White House having to say, oh, we found it inappropriate, because he said, he wasn't sure that the country was ready for a white first lady. Obviously, a joke. Anyway, here's part of Maher. And I hadn't heard this one. Apparently, David Axelrod, Bush's, what am I saying? Bush's.
Yeah, never.
Obama's, main man. David Axelrod described Romney's constant advertising in Illinois as a Mitzkrieg. Like Blitzkrieg.
Blitzkrieg, but it's a Mitzkrieg.
A Mitzkrieg. And here's Maher reporting. And instantly, the Republican Jewish coalition was outraged, and called Axelrod's remark disturbing, the use of Holocaust and Nazi imagery. And then here we have Maher saying, because after all, the message of Mitzkrieg was clear. Kill the Jews.
Right. I mean, what does that mean? Anytime you speak German, it's an anti-Semitic...
I don't know. Then the Republican Jewish coalition demanded not only that Axelrod apologize immediately, but also that Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a Jew, publicly rebuke him.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
And Maher says, for a pun, for punning against humanity. He is to be rebuked. Maher, I have a better idea. Let's have an amnesty from the left and from the right on every made-up, fake, totally insincere, play-acted hurt, insult, slight, and affront. Let's make, a national day of no outrage. And if that doesn't work, what about this? If you see or hear something you don't like in the media, just go on with your life. Turn the page or flip the dial or pick up your roll of quarters and leave the booth. And he's right, but we're too far gone. Because media drives this stuff. Media picks up, because anybody, and social media now too, the minute someone says anything, bango, we're off and running. And we do it. We do it on our side. They do it on their side. It's what is expected. Like you walked into the bedroom today with, did you see that Etch-a-Sketch remark? Okay, so we know that remark, Etch-a-Sketch, is going to, it's viral. That's all the media's talking about today.
I felt sort of sorry for that.
And what did the guy do? He spoke the truth. You have to configure things for the general election as opposed to the primary. But the imagery was so good and works against Romney. But this is the little crap that we talk about all the time.
And the problem is that when someone does something that's really wrong and you want to be upset about it, it's diluted by all of these other things. Because I really think what Rush did that started this was absolutely inexcusable and deserved the attention that it got. But when everybody else then starts, going, oh yeah, it's all lost. And I do get upset that people take good people and make them look bad for their own political purposes. And I don't like what the Republican Jewish people do, because they do not think that Obama is strong enough on Israel, they will do anything. That's their line. That's how they're attacking Obama. And I'm just tired of it. Also because I don't even think it's true.
What isn't true?
That Obama is not behind Israel.
Well, of course it's not true.
Well, but why because Republican Jews say it's true, why do we all go, oh, okay, it's not true?
We don't all go, okay. No.
I said Republican Jewish people. But we got, our own mother is extremely worried about it because she reads all the time that this is a problem.
Yeah, she's susceptible to that crap.
And I keep having to say to her, show me something that says that what you're saying is true.
Susan.
What?
You are getting into territory that my audience will tell you I avoid.
Yes, I understand.
The plague.
I know.
Okay?
You've told me this before.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't blame you.
Okay, and I want to finish up with Bill Maher. Maher. I hate that name.
Maher, I think it is.
It's very hard to pronounce. Maher. It is fine. And I'm so with him here, and this is...
Okay, I won't interrupt any.
Classic. He says, I don't want to live in a country where no one ever says anything that offends anyone. That's why we have Canada. That's not us. If we sand down our rough edges and drain all the color, emotion, and spontaneity out of our discourse, we'll end up with political candidates who never say anything but the safest, blandest, emptiest, most unctuous focus group platitudes and can't. In other words, we'll get Mitt Romney. That's it? I think it's brilliant. Brilliant! William! He's short, too.
Yeah, of course he is. And he's a potty mouth, and he says terrible things about women all the time. But
he's funny.
He's funny.
Okay. So the Etch-a-Sketch thing, we're not going to join in the outrage over that because it's ridiculous. Is anyone counting? And I wish the reporters would do this for us. Susan doesn't know this, but every day in the paper, we have a picture of another one of our former state legislators, men and women of power, who've just been convicted of felonies and are being marched off to prison. Half the prisons in Pennsylvania, Susan, are filled with former legislators.
Yeah, across the country.
Well, you can imagine. This has got to be, I don't know what number. They say that there have been over 25 individuals arrested, Democrats and Republicans, just in this last wave. And these are the former speakers and majority leaders and this and that, and they're going to, and some of them are getting. This Purcell got off easy. He got 2.5 to 5 years.
This means he'll be out in 10 months.
Vian, he's 14 years and go on and on and on and on and on and on because they keep finding other things to charge him with, and he keeps getting more piled on. Bill DeWeese is going to be huge. These guys, and we've got another lovely female, Jane Orey, who is on trial now, and she's probably about to be convicted and marched off, along with, at some point, her sister, who is a Supreme Court justice, and the third sister, Janine, who's about to get convicted, too.
3 sisters. See, aren't Lynn and I law-abiding, respectful?
Yeah, see, we at least haven't, as far as we know.
We aren't stealing from any of you. But did you hear the really worst news about people going to jail? Blagojevich.
Yes!
He's been dyeing his hair for years.
So he can't.
He's going to go gray.
And the worst thing for him is that he's got to go gray because they do not allow hair dye in prison. But he's put away for a long time. Long time. His kids will be grown before he gets out.
That poor guy, he still doesn't get what he did.
No, he doesn't know.
He really doesn't.
I don't think so either.
He feels like he doesn't understand why he's going.
No, and he even said things like, I'm proud for what I did for the people of Illinois. He really doesn't have... Well, at some point, he's going to maybe figure it out.
He only did what everybody else is doing.
And now Bristol Palin is demanding an apology, Kristen writes. For what?
Cassandra Fluke got one.
Cassandra Fluke got an apology from a slut. And did somebody call Bristol a slut?
I guess, maybe.
Yeah, but she did actually.
Yeah.
But she actually... There's proof she was screwing around. Oh, I don't care. But she's demanding an apology.
Necessarily a slut. She wasn't necessarily,
No. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Palins. They got to have attention. So this gives her an in to get some more attention because Bristol.
She doesn't want an apology. She wants another 15 minutes.
So how come I can't click on that? Here. Well, we don't even... Do we care? We don't care. But she's demanding an apology. Isn't that odd?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. See, that is odd. Okay, what else do we have to talk about? You know what? If Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, could hand out penalties for like to Rush Limbaugh or any of these people, that'd be nice. I mean, you look at, when you're dealing with something like the NFL, he's a czar. He can do whatever he darn well pleases. So, I mean, he just, it is. I was stunned, personally, to see what he did. to the Saints. Yeah, that was especially when you.
I think they also did it to the guy that's now in St. Louis. That was our offensive coach that just came there, and he was the guy that was actually.
No. Yeah, no.
So
he's been indefinitely. No, he's been
indefinitely?
And
Leave it to the Rams to decide he was a good guy to pick up.
Well, he's successful. He's successful, but he has been around. He might never end up on a sideline again. I think he's gone. But I think people are astonished it's just not just the coach getting an entire year, but the general manager as well. That's just it's really amazing. But
why isn't this a crime?
Because it's a game.
No.
You can't criminalize a violent game.
No.
Oh, I know. If you were to do that to somebody on the street, that would be assault.
No. If you pay somebody to hurt somebody, that is an assault, and people go to jail.
It's called a hit.
Kneecap them. That's a hit.
Okay, but if you go that direction, Susan, football's done.
No, it's
done.
If the guy decides to do it without getting paid, that's a penalty.
They get paid huge. They get paid millions of dollars. The assumption is they get paid millions of dollars for hitting people.
That's right.
So with this penny ante, I'll give you $5,000 more for a hit on that particular guy is, first of all, is silly because how much $5,000 is no incentive to somebody who's making $7 million. It's just that they institutionalize something that is not supposed to be talked about. That's their mistake was they were too out front, I guess, about it because football is by its very nature.
Yeah, I
vicious.
agree. But I think that this steps into, you can't say it's a game, so therefore anything that happens within the game is therefore not, going to be dealt with in any, outside the game way. That would allow all sorts of people to do things.
Look at hockey.
Inappropriate.
I think has there ever been a case where a hockey player has been criminally charged for a hit?
There has.
I think there has been. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure. For a whatever. But this is very murky territory to get into. But you interrupted me and I forgot my thought.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, I
will
had
leave
a thought.
by this afternoon.
I know, but I just don't know what the thought was. What was it? It was brilliant, I'll tell you that. And it was going to prompt a lot of people to think. What the hell was it?
I have no idea. I'm really sorry. It's about football. Did you hear what they did to the guy?
It was about football. Yeah, but never mind. You can't backtrack.
It'll come back.
Last year there was something, right, Jess? Are you finding it?
A hit.
There was a hit that was considered criminal in professional hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, so, or there was the guy who from I want to say Suggs of the Detroit Lions. Okay, Suggs is the Ravens. There was a guy from with a funny name from Detroit who just flat out kicked that Green Bay Packer in the head. Did you see that after he was down? Just kicked him, and he was suspended for. I mean, Goodell got him for a number of games, but there was somebody tweeted or posted on Facebook or something that Goodell better not show his face in New Orleans for a few years because people there are going to want to kill him. And I guess the Super Bowl next year is in New Orleans. And somebody posted, I hope Goodell comes down here with a full Secret Service.
Well, that's terrible. I'm sorry.
Of course it's terrible, but that's what we've come to. That's what we've come to. Okay, I don't want this.
Just click that.
Okay. So, okay, guys, we're gonna go. We're gonna take a final break, Jess, and we'll be back.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Go to BergBargains.com for great deals to Vegas. BergBargains.com, Pittsburgh's only online deal site where the deals don't expire. BergBargains.com.
Sewickley Med Spa is Pittsburgh's newest med spa, offering the latest in skincare treatments and medical-grade skincare products. Their providers have years of experience with aesthetic treatments and technologies such as Botox, Restylance, Juvederm, chemical peels, Retin-A, and spider vein treatments. They offer a discreet, personalized environment with only the best quality proven services and products. Call them today for a free consultation. 412-259-8628. The Sewickley Med Spa. 412-259-8628.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
All right, and more reports from the field. The video and audio are in sync. Watching from Columbus, Ohio. Well, that could be maybe you got better, what?
Yes, we were just discussing
better service.
that the internet here is. I'm have trouble at Lynn's house, and
okay, and she also says, "Great to see you," and Lynn.
Thanks.
That's and we've got one more, Kristen. Oh, I did that one already. Sorry, Kristen. That wasn't new. That was old. That was old. Okay, so I'm trying to think what else. There's so many stories. Oh, here's a pretty good letter to the editor today. Pennsylvania now has a voter ID law. Yes, sure. They passed that baby so fast. Just like last week, because our primary is in a few weeks. And, this is the kind of thing you got to get that in place because, God forbid, a Democrat might vote.
But have they noticed that they've all been struck down?
Not all. No, they haven't. Indiana's has not. There is a way to do it. Ken
you
Bailey.
have to do it for free. You cannot charge for the ID. Otherwise, it's a poll tax.
That's right. But there's some other ID laws that have gone down for other reasons. But clearly, yeah. And Pennsylvania is telling people that they can get their free IDs, but there's something that they do end up having to pay for anyway. It is just disgusting. Ken Bailey writes from Point Breeze, after some thought, I have to admit that I disagree with the argument that the new voter ID law is an expensive solution to a non-existent problem. Despite the lack of any evidence of voter fraud in Pennsylvania, it must be widespread throughout the state. After all, voter fraud is the only conceivable reason the bozos in Harrisburg could have been elected in the first place.
Weren't we saying this the other day? We were saying, doesn't that mean that they all got there with fraudulent votes?
No.
Or only the losers are the ones that have fraudulent votes.
Oh, my God.
No, that's why I find the whole thing so funny. It's people.
Oh, but here's the other thing that I think, and I really, Deb Williamson and Ross, God bless you, this is one of those women who's a poll worker. And I was saying, I think to Tom last week, when you go to the polls, the poll workers are old. Hello there.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Lynn. I was just calling.
Yes.
A couple of guys in the NHL that faced charges.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a guy, Todd Bertuzzi, who broke Stephen Moore's neck.
Oh my God.
And he played for Colorado at the time. Bertuzzi was suspended indefinitely, but he's actually back in the league now. And Moore has never played again because of his broken neck.
But so when the guy was criminally charged, so the suspension comes from the NHL, but criminal charges, like was there a trial? I mean, did he?
There was a settlement out of court.
Oh, yeah, okay. But you can see where that gets murky, though, because stuff, pretty violent people get broken necks. Sometimes it's a crime, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just part of the game. Collateral damage, right?
Well, and a settlement out of court would be a civil thing. That would be where they were suing him for money for care, as opposed to a criminal thing where they were finding innocence or guilt.
Well, it could be criminal in a plea bargain of some sort, right?
Yeah, it could.
So, well, thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Okay, bye. Bye. So when you go to vote, those are old people that have manned the polls forever, right? And I've been worrying about where are the young people who are going to take those jobs. I don't get a sense of young people willing to spend 14 hours sitting there. And here's from a poll worker about the ID law, Deb Williamson and Ross. What if all poll workers decide it's just not worth their time anymore? Take their seat cushions and stay home for the November election. Oh, yes, fellow workers, you know that sitting on those hard chairs for 14-plus hours can test perseverance. I understand that young may be a subjective term, but I am one of the youngest poll workers at our site. Many of our older workers are retiring after years of commitment, with limited volunteers stepping up to take their place. During the last presidential election, we could barely keep up with voters during the evening hours. Now, with the voter ID law, this is why these Republicans do it. Now, with the voter ID law, lines will most certainly be longer, especially with the possibility of those provisional ballots that people without the proper ID can do, and are having to explain to neighbors whom we've known for years the consequences of not having a valid ID. I mean, I've never been asked for an ID. They know who I am there, but if I go in, they're going to have to ask me. What if I don't have one? I might go home and say, well, the hell with this, and, blah, blah, blah. As it is, only about 25 to 30% of our district votes, and very few are under 30 years of age. If voting is to be changed, the focus should be on getting more people out to vote, not on making it more difficult and restrictive. But she is right. All of that stuff is slowing down the process. So when you used to be able to walk in and get it done, now you're going to be sitting there because they're making it hard.
And it is. I mean,
it's just suppression.
And
that's
poll
all
workers
it is.
are in large part senior citizens, and I have been guilty of going, oh, please, because it's very slow, and I know where my name is on the voter rolls because of the way it's spelled. I'm the second to the last name
in the ends.
In the ends, and I'll tell them exactly where it is, and it still takes 15 minutes to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I actually thought about volunteering to do that. Of course, now I'll just look like another old one.
You'll be, as this woman probably is, one of the younger old people.
Right. I'll be one of the younger old people.
But who is there going? Okay. I'm in Florida, Kathy writes, watching the video and audio, and they're in sync. Well, they're just not in sync in Pittsburgh.
Outside of this building?
Although Jess insists on letting you know that it's fine on her computer. All right. Well,
all right. It's just that there are some Wi-Fi issues in Pittsburgh. I'm just here to tell you. And it looks by the mail that that's exactly right, because elsewhere in the country, people have no. The farther away you get, the better it is.
That's right.
Netherlands, I'm sure is just fine.
That's true. Okay. The new stats are out. Nearly 4 in 10 women have never married in this country, and those numbers keep rising and rising and rising. So, wow.
Well, it's because of all the jerks on the blogs posting in favor of Rush and calling women sluts and prostitutes. For some reason, girls don't find that attractive.
No.
What do you think?
It's because black women are not marrying almost at all. It's white women who are, white educated women are the only ones left that seem to feel they have to get married. Nobody else does. Nobody. So, you were thinking of your daughter, maybe make her marry sometime, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she's the one that will probably marry. But if she was socioeconomically a little bit lower or less educated, the odds of her marrying would be slim. Jess isn't married yet.
Yeah, but
Not yet.
yeah, right.
But Jess would like to be married.
well, that's fine.
And Jess even
Jess
has her
plenty of
fellow.
time.
Yes, but doesn't Jess look like she'd be a great matronly mom kind of person?
No, she just looks to me like she would be a beautiful bride. For those that can't see her, Jess is a very, very pretty girl.
Yes. Jess is blushing. All right, and we're done. And now we're leaving. Susan's got to go to the airport.
I got to go to the airport.
And
Bye, everybody.
we have to find Tom Sokolowski.
Right.
If anybody sees Tom Sokolowski
Or lives near him and can knock on his door and
let's
make sure he's okay.
make sure he's okay. Okay? That would be good. Okay, I'll be in here tomorrow, I think by myself. I think that's a plan. And enjoy this beautiful day. Toodaloo.
Bye.
All right.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.